My friend Catherine Carrera shared with me an article by a feminist in Kenya today about a trend in which in East Africa there are men killing prostitutes who have supposedly cuckolded them and throwing them off of buildings and otherwise murdering these socialites, so-called socialites. They're whores, really, whores. And one quote from the article, first of all, over and over in the article, it says she was murdered because of her gender. What they really mean is sex. She was murdered because she was a woman, and that's not true. He didn't murder some virgin woman, some honorable woman. The man murdered a prostitute. So that's her sex, female, and that's not why she was murdered. She was murdered because she was a whore. Now it's murder, it's a crime, but another quote from the article, aside from that equivocation, which I take issue with very strongly, another quote is the author said that murder is a crime, but promiscuity is not. And I assert and rebut that murder is a crime, and this is a false dichotomy because prostitution, promiscuity is also a crime. And God, the Bible says, who can stand before jealousy? Who can stand before jealousy? The Bible also says that a prostitute, a harlot, a whore, eats a man like a piece of bread, and then she takes and wipes her mouth and says, I've done nothing wrong. I've done nothing wrong. The problem is you can get away with that shit with maybe 3 out of 4 men. But God has put something in the nature of men, in the nature of mankind, and of a male, of a man. There's an old saying, don't tease the tiger. If you tease a lion or a tiger or a bear in his cage, you might get away with it for years or a day. But eventually you're going to run into a tiger, or that moment is going to come when he gets an opportunity to get a hold of your ass and teach you something about the nature of a cat. And these cats that have been killing these women, yeah, they're murderers. But that begs the question. If someone walks out in a thunderstorm and jumps up and down and shakes his fist as lightning is striking all around, and the son of a bitch gets hit by lightning, is it good? No, it's not good. Is it natural? Absolutely, it's natural. Don't tease the tiger. Don't tease the tiger. God put something in men. You might get away with it, whore. 9 out of 10 men. But eventually you're going to run into that man who can't take it, who was sincere. You know, women complain. I just heard yesterday a mutual friend, a friend of a friend, a friend of someone I love. What, the same old story, impregnated by a man and ran away. And women hate that. They say, men. Men are bad. But then you find a man on the opposite side of the spectrum, you see, and you screw with him, a man who's serious, a man who's not joking. Don't tease the tiger. So the man's a criminal, okay? Just like Jack the Ripper was a criminal. But there's also that thing which is hardwired into the fraud, which is promiscuity, the fraud which is prostitution, the fraud which is a whoring and a whoremongering, which brings with it, eventually, you can bet on it, the promise of violence. Because when people make love to one another, okay, a bad woman might find a bad man, neither of them have any kind of integrity, and neither of them are serious, and they both walk away. Maybe 99 times out of 100. But then you run into somebody who was serious, a man who was serious, who gave himself to you, who gave his substance to you, And that man's not interested in letting you walk away, wipe your mouth, and move on to the next John. Okay? Be warned and be forewarned. You're not going to fix this problem by bitching about it, feminists. God has hardwired it into the nature of man not to be screwed with. Eventually, you run into a man who can't take that shit, and he's going to enforce the law one way or another, and that's human nature. Legislate against it all you will. Prostitution comes with, and sexual fraud, because it inherently is fraud, comes with, eventually, it's like Russian roulette, eventually you can bank on it, the promise of violence. When you make love to someone, whether with words, written or spoken, or with the unwritten, unspoken words of sex, the kisses, the caresses, the embraces, these are covenants. And God has not created man to toy with sex, which the Bible says is an image. It's a great mystery, says the Apostle Paul, but I speak concerning Christ and the church, regarding the one flesh union of a husband with a wife. So if a man thought it was serious, and you wipe your mouth and treat him like a piece of bread and move on, sister, sometimes you ain't going to be able to move on. You're going to be dead.